Hey guys, MC Stu here, and today we're just going to do a discussion on something that I was thinking about. I watched a video from Asmongold when I was surfing around YouTube, as I do quite a bit, and this happens quite a bit, similar to the video we did last month on why are you still playing STO. They were having a discussion that made me think about STO or think about their discussion in terms of STO. And so I wanted to do that today. And the subject is Star Trek Online pay to win? And so I really started thinking about that, and I'm just kind of riffing here, guys, because I'm still kind of thinking through this. And if somebody asks me, is Star Trek Online pay to win? I'm gonna say yes. Someone could also ask me, is Star Trek Online pay to win? And I can say no. And that was the determination that I continue to make to myself when I'm thinking this through, because really what we're talking about is something bigger or a more abstract question is, what is pay to win? And that, I don't know that there's an actual answer to that that someone can just say and applies to everybody. That's really something that depends on you and how you feel about the game, or how you feel about the nature of pay to win, and what that is, right? So it's subjective. And so that just got me thinking. I was asking a couple of my kids. They're heavy gamers, and we've had these discussions in the community before, and with some of the people I play with and things like that. And it's all over the place. And the more I thought about it, it really comes down to not each of our arguments, but really what's that starting point, right? Defining the term. And that's really the issue, is that there isn't a defined and accepted term or definition to what pay to win is, right? So let's talk about it a little bit. So the main thing that you hear all the time is Star Trek Online pay to win. And the answer is no, because you can get everything you want in game for free, right? So you can grind it out, and if you put enough time in, you can get everything in game, with the exception of a lifetime subscription. So let's just put that aside. So, and that's inconsequential really to this particular discussion. So I've had comments before on some of my videos where, somebody will say, well, you either pay a bunch of money or you spend a whole bunch of time. My initial reaction was, well, yeah, I mean, what are you going to get a game and everything's unlocked and you're max level winning? I mean, what's the point of playing it, right? That's the nature of a game. You get it to play it. And in some games you can pay to, progress faster. And I think that's probably the overarching of Star Trek Online, is that you can pay to progress faster, and that's true. But is it winning to progress? So if you can progress faster, are you paying to win over somebody that can't pay or won't pay? Is winning doing the most DPS in the game? Is winning just beating all the story content? And can you pay to do that faster or more efficiently? Is winning just doing space Barbie? I just want to fly a particular ship and imagine I'm there and have fun. Does that cost money to do that? So is that pay to win? And does the fact that you can get the majority of all of this stuff without spending any money, but it takes a long time, does that negate that pay to win aspect, or does that actually reemphasize that it is pay to win if I can just spend money and get all these things I want, instead of grinding for dilithium and playing through all of the different events and the yearly tokens that the game gives out and things like that, right? So there's the discussion is really depends on the person and what pay to win means to them, right? So I would argue that, say, on the super high DPS competitive side, you could say, yeah, it's pay to win, because it would take you years and years and years just to be able to grind the resources you need to, get all the ships you need. But you still can do it. So is it pay to win? And the more I talk and I think about it, the less and less clear that answer becomes. And like I said initially, it really comes down to what do you classify or determine, or what does pay to win mean to you? What is that? So you're going to get people that right away says, well, I gotta do X, Y, and Z, or I gotta buy it, and that's pay to win. Okay. I'm not saying they're wrong. I don't have that same opinion. You have other people that say, well, the high-end meta, you have to buy all of these ships, and so it's pay to win. And that's true. Can you get those ships through other means? Yes. Will it take a long time? Yes, it will. So is that pay to win? Could be. It just depends on how you feel about that. I mean, what if I don't have the time to grind and I don't have the money, but I like playing the game and I get a couple hours in a week? So grinding's not an option in the level that you'll need to do to be able to get the stuff by the time that you're the game's still out, or you got to pay. So for someone in a position like that, they could classify it as pay to win. And something that really sets Stow apart, we talk about this a lot, is the DIL exchange. And people say it's broken. It's broken in comparison to how it used to be. You can still exchange dilithium for Zen, and it still happens. You just have to wait, and it takes a little while for those transactions to go through now, but you can still do that. That is still viable, and that's one of the big things that really kind of sets this game apart. And we've talked about this a lot, and maybe I should back up for a moment. So free-to-play game models are all pay to win, quote unquote, or pay for convenience, or pay to progress faster. It's free to play, but they have to make money. That's the way it is, right? So that's anyone that gets mad about that, should probably just not play video games in general, because video games are not free to make, and they're not made just to be nice or made to make a profit. Now, there's different practices and ways to go about doing that people could argue are shady and things like that. And I'm not saying that Stow does that. I'm just saying that that's the nature of the market of the quote unquote free to play games. No other game, though, has that mechanic where you can grind in game and be able to switch out or exchange those in-game currencies for currency that would cost real money. So I think that's one big advantage, to where you can make all the arguments you want that Stow is pay to win, and they're not wrong in some aspects depending on how you look at this, but there is also alternatives. And like I said, granted, there are people that may not have the time or the know-how in order to grind those things out and get it. But just because an individual is unable to do that does not make the entire game that thing, right? So it's just kind of an interesting thought, experiment to kind of think through, because most people have their opinion on it, and I did as well. And my opinion was, no, it's not pay to win because I can get everything for free. But then I started, thinking about, well, what if I didn't know what I know, or what if I didn't have the time to put in to do those kinds of things? Is that still true to me? And then that led me into thinking, well, if it's pay to progress faster than the next person, is that paying to win? What is winning, right? What is winning to you? So that's really kind of the place to start, right? What is winning to you? And then, pay to win is going to flow down from what you consider pay to win. If you're someone that just starts the game, you're a DPS chaser and you want to get right up on there and get right up on the boards, but you don't want to spend any money, you're going to view this as pay to win, because you are not going to be able to do that in the first couple months. In fact, it's going to be a while. Now you can do well, and you can you can do very well, but you're not going to break any of the records in the first couple months of playing this game, even if you figure it all out and you put all kinds of time in without spending money on ships. And even if you did spend the money on ships in that kind of time frame, my example, which is probably bad, that's not enough time to understand the mechanics and really go through builds and get things flushed out to where you can operate those ships and those traits and those things in a way that are going to allow you to do that. So my takeaway is this, that it's very subjective, and a lot of us, when we have these discussions with our friends and people in the community, it can get pretty heated. There's disagreement, and what I've realized is that people are, they're not talking past each other, but they're living in two different worlds. And it's not that one world's, correct and the other is not. It's that it's correct to that person, because the entire conversation is subjective and depends on your circumstances and how you feel about it. So again, I mean, there's multiple ways to play the game, which means there's multiple different ways for people to view what winning is, and then that changes the paths of what it takes to get there. If your end game is winning a space Barbie and flying around the Vengeance, you're going to have to probably spend money to get that or grind out and get it. So I think that STO has the best model when it comes to this entire conversation, because there are options, and that is something that is not involved or available in just about any other game that I'm aware of. So even if you can't spend the money, you can get all of these things. It's going to take longer. And again, if you're a person, well, if it takes longer and that other person's getting there first, they're winning, right? They've paid and they've won. They've got there faster than the amount of work that I have to do. So I don't know, guys. I just thought I'd put that out there. It's just something I was thinking of, because, I'm having these conversations in my mind, and what's happening is it's circular, right? I just, end up back at the same place, because it depends on what that person's perspective is and where they are. So in any case, guys, I hope that was interesting. I just, was thinking about it and was ranting, and I figured, you know what, I'll just hit record and share this with you guys and see, see what you guys think about it. I mean, all of us, talking about these kinds of things in a nice way, please. I think helps flush out for people that are, thinking that through, and, and trying to decide, how they feel about it. And, and some of you may hear this, say, well, I don't care about any of this, right? I'm fine with paying, or I don't care, I'm fine with, grinding, or I don't care, it's pay to win and I'm not playing. Okay, fine. I mean, some people just may not care in general. I just thought it was interesting. And if you guys needed something extra to think about or talk about, I'm always game and are interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that. So, all right, guys, until next time, have a good one. I appreciate you for listening to my talk there, my rant. And until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.